Recording live from the planet formerly known as Arlia, it's the Dragon Balls Deep podcast with your hosts, Devin and Drew.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Baseballs Deep podcast. I'm your host, Pepper Johnson, joined as always by my co-host, Rocky Rivers. Continuity.
Yeah, callback.
It's a two-man crew here today, so we'll see how this goes. First up, the corrections department. The name of the baseball team that Yamcha and the Titans are playing against, they are called the Rockets.
What do we call them?
We just called them the R's.
Oh yeah, we were just trying to guess. Well, that's not. We didn't really fuck it up. We just didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know, but that's the name of that. Also, not a correction, just more of a confirmation. When we discussed, I don't remember what episode, we discussed how Goku received the flying Nimbus cloud. We were correct, and that he got it for helping Turtle get back to Kame House when he was lost.
Oh yeah, I looked that up too. Yep.
It was one of the first episodes, I think.
Sweet. Yep, that memory serves me good.
Good job. All right, let's get into this. Dragon Ball Z episode 11. Originally aired on July 12th, 1989 in Japan, and on October 25th, 1996 in the U.S. I don't have a name. I don't do that gimmick anymore.
Nah, we'll come up with a new one.
Right. The show begins with the sun rising as we see some Dr. Seuss characters coming up from the ground. We then see Gohan sleeping on top of a cliff. I guess he decided to make a camp up high as to avoid the dinosaurs.
Yeah, and I think they made it a point to start him off on like a big pillar, just to like call back to like when he first started his survival challenge. Yes. And he's up in a high spot and he's stuck, and now he's just like climbing down, just like what was it, like a mouse or a squirrel or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Good observation. I like that. His clothes are all worn out and torn apart, and we see him jumping down the mountain and sliding down the hill with his makeshift fruit bowl in his head. He's come a very long way from the Gohan who just a few episodes ago would have probably starved to death had it not been for Piccolo.
Yep.
And his apples. Gohan has clearly gotten used to not having a tail, too, as he can run and jump with zero problems.
Yeah, regained his balance, got his sea legs.
Yeah. Gohan leaps into the air and kicks a tree, causing a massive storm of berries to come falling down.
Yeah, and that's
I've never seen a berry tree.
Yeah, and I want to say that's more Goku than something Goku would do.
It is very Goku. Gohan grabs his bowl and he dashes back and forth, using his newly acquired speed to catch every single berry that drops. He then eats them by the handful, raw, without cleaning them. Then Gohan's good friend Mr. T-Rex shows up out of nowhere to join him with breakfast. With breakfast or as breakfast?
Yeah, actually in the sub, because I know I think in the dub he just says something about like, oh, you look hungry. But
yeah, I like Gohan's just sitting there casually eating, and he just goes, "What's up?"
Yeah, but in the subs, he actually already alludes to what we come to see, and he just says, "You never learn, do you?"
Yeah, he kind of says that here. He remarks that the dinosaur looks hungry, and his assessment is correct because the T-Rex tries to eat him. Gohan begins to run away. Not so much in fear this time, but it seems more like he's just playing with the dinosaur.
Yep, just getting his steps in.
We then get a look at the dinosaur's tail. half of it is missing, as it's been cut off very cleanly too, probably by some sort of large sharp blade, maybe a sword.
Yeah. And, what do you think dinosaur tail tastes like? You think it's like similar to like alligator?
I imagine it's very reptile-like.
That's greasy.
I'd eat it.
Yeah.
Or at least try it.
So what do you think? What do you think Gohan's Naked and Afraid PSR rating is right now?
I have no idea.
I'd say he's got to be like a solid 8.5. He's thriving.
Yeah, he's done very well.
He's come a long way.
The dinosaur continues to chase Gohan, trying to eat him, as Gohan just taunts him. Eventually, Gohan makes the dinosaur crash headfirst into the side of a mountain by jumping high into the air. As you see here, he's really starting to develop his powers and his skills.
Yeah.
Gohan, he pulls his sword out while in midair and says, "Great, it looks like tail steak for breakfast." And actually, I wrote here, I'm jealous. I want to eat a dinosaur.
It is tasty looking.
So then while the dinosaur has a seizure, Gohan chops off a slice of his tail, bone and everything. Gohan says, "Hey, you won't have much of a tail left if you keep this up." But he doesn't have much of a tail now. I think he means he won't have a tail at all.
Yeah, pretty much. The tail's maybe got a week on it.
Yeah, also, the dinosaur, he keeps messing with Gohan, and he keeps getting his tail cut off, but he clearly continues to try and eat Gohan, so I can't really feel bad for him.
He's got too much pride. Can't let it go.
We then see more of Gohan's new powers as he fires a small energy blast at a log to start a fire. I'm kind of interested in how he learned to do this. I'm guessing he maybe saw Goku do this.
I feel like this is like a pretty like big jump that they like just kind of gloss over, but like that he can just like control his energy like that.
Yeah.
Without any training whatsoever.
Yeah, because even Goku couldn't really do that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that about the whole passing of time. So Gohan, Saki. I do that a lot. I'm going to do that a lot. Gohan cooks his tail steak as we see Piccolo hovering above, still keeping a watchful eye over him. I wonder if Piccolo has been watching them this whole time, or if Piccolo was gone for like the past few weeks or months or whatever, and he just now found Gohan. Like, has he been spending a few days looking for him?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Piccolo needs to really start getting with this training. I mean, Saiyans are going to be there any month now.
Yeah, we don't know.
I wonder what Piccolo's like prerequisites are for his training. Like, what does he expect Gohan to be able to do when he's going to actually start giving him training?
Well, he just said learn to survive on his own.
And he seems to be doing that fine now. And it seems like he's been fine for at least like a week or so. Like,
at least.
Yeah, maybe even longer, but definitely a while now.
Actually, Piccolo says here that Gohan has started to master the training as he gives a villainous smirk.
Not really much training, just kind of abandoning him and keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
I guess that's Piccolo's idea of training for now.
It's Piccolo's boot camp. Then Mr. Narrator takes us deep into space to see what the two Saiyans are up to. Vegeta's space pod informs him that they are within 1 parsec of the planet Arlia, and it wakes him up by emitting some kind of vapor. It called it something, I think, but I didn't catch the name. I couldn't understand what it was saying because there was also music playing.
Yeah, I didn't catch it either.
Vegeta hasn't dyed his hair yet, and he's still wearing his orange armor.
I like the orange. They should like bring that back as like a throwback outfit.
You can buy action figures of it.
Yeah, I want it
But,
unlockable
yeah.
in the new Dragon Ball Z game.
I wouldn't be against it. Back on Earth, Bulma, Krillin, and Yamcha are still flying in Bulma's car. This makes me think that makes me think that not as much time has passed as we actually think. Like every time we see Gohan, we think that like weeks and weeks have passed by. But now I'm starting to maybe not think so, because I don't know. It doesn't really take weeks to go from West City to Korin's Tower in a flying car.
Yeah, and I can't remember because I know like an episode or two ago, like Yamcha and them kept alluding that they were going to be trained by Korin, and I think this episode is when they finally switch it up to Kami. So I think that was just a mistake on Funimation's part.
Yeah, I have it written here. Yamcha is all excited about going to train with Kami, keyword Kami, because in the last few episodes they have been saying Korin, but now it's Kami. So, was there a change of plans? Did Yajirobe fuck up the message?
No.
Or did Funimation fuck up the anime?
I want to say it's 100% chance that Funimation fucked it up. Yes, it said Kami the whole time in the subs.
The answer when we return.
Yeah, but I wanted to get into, I don't think we've got into it much yet, but why does everybody hate Yamcha? And everybody being us, the fans. I think he definitely shows it a little bit in this scene right here, but just his unwarranted confidence that he always has, like, oh, I'm going to train with Kami, and then the Saiyans wouldn't stand a chance. It's like, well,
yeah, he's either being like very cocky and then does absolutely nothing, or just does absolutely nothing.
And it's like, you don't see like Krillin and Tien like flexing like that. Well, Krillin sometimes, but they make it funny.
Well, I mean, at least Krillin is always there fighting, and you know.
Yeah.
He's always game.
Yeah, I feel like Yamcha,
this is the only, like, in the whole, well, in Dragon Ball Z anyway, it's like, this is the one fight that Yamcha's even in, and he basically he shows up, and spoiler alert, he dies, and then he, like, never fights again in the whole series. So why should anyone care about him? Yeah,
he is he's a sort of a coward. Like, he comes out and fights sometimes, but he definitely, like, backs out of a lot of fights.
Yeah, he never shows up again. At least to,
But yeah, not... Definitely has... I think a lot of the hate towards him, though, has to do with not even just the fighting, but yeah, it's just unwarranted cockiness. And, like, Krillin and Tien are much more humble. And they know where they stand as far as the power rankings.
Yeah. I don't know. He's not the most likable character, even without all that.
Yeah. But yep, I'm ready to move on from that.
Bulma tells Yamcha to calm down and that they have to find Tien and Chaozu first. So, I see, they're flying around looking for Tien. That makes sense. Carry on. Then Puar says that Yamcha will get stronger and no one will be able to beat him in a battle.
Yep.
I had to pause the show here because I was laughing too hard.
That cat is almost as delusional as Yamcha.
It seems like this. It's so much better when you know what's actually going to happen. It's like all the people who are doing the show knew too, and they just kind of did this as like a troll.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like when in like real life when you're watching like a UFC fight or something, and then you go back and you watch like the shit talking the week beforehand, and it's like, ooh,
yes,
I already know what's gonna happen.
Yes. Yamcha says he'll be ready for anything except Kamikaze Cybermen.
Yep.
Back in space, Vegeta wakes up Nappa. Did you see how much room Nappa had in his space pod?
I knew you were gonna bring this up. You're obsessed with the
I'm
the
telling
space
you,
pod.
something's not right here.
I mean, yeah, he had a lot of room, but not nearly as much room as Vegeta did.
No, or I don't know. I'm sure we'll get to it more. Vegeta says he thought they should make a stop and stretch their legs a bit, get some exercise.
And yeah,
Vegeta's.
I was just gonna say Nappa brings up too that in the subs that being like traveling for like a year at a time, it like kind of like takes them like some warming up when they start fighting again, so it's good that they're stopping before they hit Earth.
That makes sense. That's probably why he says, here, I'll get to it. Vegeta says that Arlia is nearby, and maybe they could sell it for a nice price.
Yeah.
I wish there was some kind of Saiyan Frieza planet broken guidebook, because shit's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
But then, alluding to what you just said, Nappa says here that he hopes the Arlians know how to fight. So it makes sense that they would need to.
Yeah, pretty much. He just says they get out of form when they're sleeping for a year at a time.
Makes sense.
So that could have been an advantage if they didn't stop for the Z fighters at least, but they lost that advantage, I think, when they stopped.
That's a good point. I guess that's why, like, afterwards, like after this and throughout the rest of the series, like Goku and Vegeta, like, they never stop training. Like, that's all they do.
Yep.
It's
unlike, well, this is a big spoiler, but like Beerus and Super, he doesn't seem to lose a step when he takes a nap for 30 years.
Well, he's a god.
Yeah.
I don't think gods have that problem. The two Saiyans land on Arlia, crash land. First impression, Arlia is a shithole. I'm not impressed.
Yeah. Makes
Vegeta and
Namek
Nappa
look like paradise.
Namek was pretty nice. Fake Namek, not so much.
What's fake Namek?
The fake planet that they land on before they get to Namek, with the two aliens disguised as the Namekians.
I do not remember this. What's this from?
It's coming up soon. It's when Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan are on their way to Namek. And they see, like, they land on a planet thinking it's Namek. But it's not. It's just two aliens trying to steal their spaceship.
I vaguely remember, but now I'm looking forward to this.
We'll get to it. It's not far away. Vegeta and Nappa doubt that they can get a high price for the planet. And we then see little black nimbus-looking clouds floating around, whatever they are. Vegeta's scouter goes off as two giant bugs that are being ridden by two smaller bugs come crashing out of nowhere. The two bugs say that Vegeta and Nappa are trespassing. The two bugs begin to draw their swords, and Nappa says that they should blast them. The two bugs tell the Saiyans to surrender peacefully or face the consequences. Vegeta shouts no. So one of the bug fires an energy blast at the two Saiyans, and for whatever reason they think that it's all over with, but the blast did nothing. I like this part. One of the bugs shouts at the Saiyans to surrender immediately, and Nappa shouts, "Make me."
Yes. It's the beginning of Nappa's epic dialogue that he should just get an Emmy for in this episode.
He really should.
And just to let everybody know, there's no sub versus dub for this episode, but Nappa just clearly wins in the English dub.
So dubs, no contest. Vegeta then uses his telepathic powers that he never again uses in the entire series.
All right, yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
And using only his mind, he tells Nappa to surrender to the Arlians so they can have some fun. The only thing close to this that he does is when he dies on Namek, he like has some kind of like out-of-body meeting with Goku.
Yeah, I feel like Goku does it once in a while, but yeah, it's always like one of them has to die for it to work.
Yeah, Goku does it while he's dead. I think that can be done. But he does that usually through King Kai.
Yeah, usually.
But yeah, I guess Vegeta and Nappa have some kind of connection here.
Is Piccolo telepathic?
Telepathic. He is with Kami.
That doesn't count. They share the same brain. Kind of. Yeah. It's like a hive mind.
Pretty much. So the Saiyans surrendered to the Arlians. But what do they have planned? Stay tuned to find out. Back on Earth, we see Launch. Hey, it's Launch. I don't remember seeing her this early in the series, but here she is. In typical Launch fashion, she's in a high-speed chase with the cops. Did you like Launch's little unicycle thing she's riding?
I did. I like this whole scene.
Launch uses a few tricks, such as a rocket and smoke to get away. She flies off a cliff and lands perfectly, no harm done. But the cops land and basically explode.
I think it's kind of ironic how she aims her rocket launcher at them and says, what does she say? She says, this should give you some bang for your buck.
Yeah.
But really, she's stealing the money for Tien, so it sounds like she's the one who's trying to get some bang for her buck.
Yeah, that's what I have next. She must have robbed a bank or something, because she says, "This is for you, Tien. I'm gonna buy you lots of food with these greenbacks." What is happening?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think her efforts really get her anywhere with Tien.
No, I don't think they do. Back on Arlia, the two Saiyans are now handcuffed and in a portable cage. We then see two Arlians sword fighting. I wasn't sure why. Maybe a gladiator style fight.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, gladiator.
We see the Arlian king enjoying some fruit as he watches the two swordsmen duel. Down below in the Arlian dungeon, Vegeta and Nappa are shown to their new home, which is a prison cell. The one Arlian guy said something to them, but I have no idea. Like when he was putting him in the cage, he said something to him, but I have no idea what he said. I couldn't understand him.
Oh, I remember.
Sounded like my TV was underwater.
Oh, he said something. There's no rats in here because the prisoners ate them all, or something like that.
Interesting. We hear a bunch of voices as we see a bunch of bright red eyes light up. It's a group of Arlians who have also been imprisoned. They're all talking about Nappa and Vegeta being ugly. One of them tells the Saiyans that they came at a bad time because there's a new king of Arlia and he is very ruthless and he uses the prisoners for his own amusement. So I guess that's what the sword fight was.
Yep.
The Arlian also says that the king stole his wife on the day that they were to be married. So, damn. Mr. Steal Your Girl out here just giving no fucks.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Also, she does appear to be the only female on the planet, so I can kind of sort of see why he stole her.
Yeah.
Not that I'm condoning it, but
I like how they start developing this like little side story, like try and get you invested a little bit in these Arlian characters.
Did it work?
Well, I think it pays off in the end, but we'll get to that.
All right. The new Arlian king offers his stolen wife some fruit, but she refuses to eat. He tells her, "Do you think these bugs are religious?"
Probably.
Okay, we won't get into that.
Why? What do you think?
I don't know, because he has like a stolen wife and everything, so.
And I feel like this is like just set out of like, it's just like a Roman times gladiator ripoff, so they all believed in
that makes more
higher
sense.
powers and gods, so I assume they do too.
They probably I bet they worship a bug.
Yep, another bug.
The king tells his stolen wife she has to put the past behind her, and that she is his queen now. She says, "No, there's only one that I truly love." I like how these bugs speak English.
Yep, everybody speaks English. The
Except
entire
the
galaxy.
Namekians.
Yeah, they speak English too, but
They
have their
both
own language,
languages, yeah. The sword fight is finally over as one of them has made the other quit. That's what it looked like anyway.
Yep.
The king demands that his guards take Gregor to the pit. Gregor is the one that lost, apparently.
Poor Gregor gets the thumbs down.
Also, Gregor. That's his name.
Gregor.
Gregor begs to not be thrown into the pit. What's in the pit? The Rancor?
It's that thing from Star Wars.
That's the Rancor.
Oh, is that?
Close enough, though. It's a giant bug that looks like all the other bugs, but bigger. Then the screen gets covered in like a green slime. What is this?
I think it's blood.
Am I watching the Arlian version of Double Dare?
Double Dare. Wow, that's a callback.
I know. Then we hear a scream, so I guess Gregor got slimed.
Yeah.
The king says he's suffering from royal boredom. Story of my life. Also, why do all the creatures on this planet look the same? You have the Arlians, who look like bugs. Then you have the big horse things that they ride that just look like Arlians, except bigger and more elephant horse-like.
And according to the subs, when they bump into Vegeta and Nappa, they were in the middle of hunting, so gotta assume they were hunting some sort of other bug. Yeah.
Yes, that probably looked like them.
Yeah.
You have the big giant the Nickelodeon Rancor that just looks like a giant Arlian. It's a very weird planet. It's like this is kind of a bad analogy, but it's like if there was nothing on Earth but humans, buffalo, and grizzly bears, but we all looked alike and shared the same features.
Yeah. Some of us
What the
walked on
fuck?
fours, but we still look the same.
Yeah, weird. Ugh. It's disturbing. One of the king's men couldn't put Gregor back together again. Ha! No. One of the king's men informs him that they captured 2 aliens. Aliens. The king tells him to have them brought out for entertainment, but is interrupted by none other than the aliens, aka the Saiyan prince himself, who says, "We're already here." The king demands to know what the meaning of all this is and why the prisoners are not being accompanied by an armed escort. Vegeta says the guards met with an unfortunate accident.
And this
Same
whole
thing.
scene is just the beginning of an epic conversation between the king and the Saiyans.
It's the same thing that happened to the Naps.
The naps.
Nobody will get that.
Yeah, I don't get that.
It's all right. Maybe somebody will.
Let us know if you get that.
Yes. We then see that all of the guards in the dungeon have been beaten up. The king says, "How dare you? Soon it will be you who is met with an unfortunate accident." The king tells his stolen wife not to watch, as he's going to have his guards make quick work of these repulsive creatures. The king says that they'll test the big one with the shiny head first, and save the little one for last, because he won't put up much of a fight.
Oh, how wrong you are.
Yeah. So it's the new champion, I forget how to pronounce it, Izar?
I'll go with it.
I think it's Izar. Izar versus Nappa. I know this isn't a fair fight and all, because it's Vegeta and Nappa, but it's also not fair because this dude, Izar, just got done with like a 2-hour sword fight.
Hey man, it says there's early UFC days fighting three times in one night.
Yeah, tournament style. So the Arlian sword champion goes for an attack, but gets his head blown off by Vegeta. I thought this was pretty funny.
It's great.
Nappa says, I guess that makes you the new champion, Vegeta.
I love it.
Two funny things at once.
I just want to say this episode almost makes me wish that Nappa stayed in the series because he's just so hilarious in this episode.
Yeah, he's pretty good all the way up until his death. The king is not impressed by Vegeta's performance. He says that 10 of his men have mastered energy techniques just like his.
And then in the actual subs, the king, he's just super confused. He's just like, what the hell was that? So completely the opposite of the dub.
Ah, interesting.
And the entire time he's just terrified as they're just they're massacring all their people.
So in the dub, they made it just basically made Vegeta and Nappa more evil.
Yeah.
More of a threat, really.
That's a lot of the reason why I like it more too.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. Vegeta says he wants to fight these 10 men. The king says the two Saiyans are going to suffer for their insolence. Nappa says, yeah, whatever. Can we get on with this already? Nappa says, come on, your heinousness. Bring on that cricket brigade of yours.
Yes.
I like how he calls him heinousness.
Yeah, it's just so cheesy, but so good.
Good stuff, Nappa. The king's elite warrior guards surround the two Saiyans and fire energy blast at them. I don't think there are 10 of them here. It looked more like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I don't know. The attack does nothing. Vegeta even claims that it felt good. The king is furious by this and orders his men to attack and destroy them. But before they can, we see Nappa fire an energy attack of his own.
Is that when he just charges up like crazy and just disintegrates all of them?
Basically. All right. Now let's take it to Snake Way and check on Goku and see how he's doing. And Goku is still running. All right. Back on Arlia, Nappa begins powering up. Didn't he fire an energy blast in the last scene? He
might have. I know he threw a couple throughout the entire part.
As Nappa powers up and I guess destroys the guards, the king orders them to release the Yeti. Yeti is the big Rancor bug that's down in the Double Dare pit. Toriyama is a big Star Wars fan, so all of this does make sense.
Ooh, I didn't know that. That explains a lot, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeti is brought up from the pit as Vegeta claims that it's the old giant bug in the ground trick. I'm not a fan of this trick either.
Yeah, Vegeta has some good lines in this too, as well as Nappa.
The king tells Yeti to destroy the Saiyans because they are bad. Very, very bad. Nappa asks Vegeta, "We're bad?" To which Vegeta replies, "Well, a little." Yeti tries to attack the two Saiyans, but they're too fast for him. The Yeti tries to squash Nappa, but Nappa grabs his finger and rips it off. Then Nappa fires an energy blast at the Yeti and finishes him off for good.
I like how Nappa licks the blood off his face, like BJ Penn style.
Yeah, that was cool. Gross, but pretty cool. The king runs away and hides behind his throne as he begs the Saiyans not to hurt him. But Vegeta, now using telekinesis, throws a rock at the king and takes him out. One of the bug prisoners makes his way up from the dungeon to see what's going on. This is the guy who had his wife stolen by the king. Vegeta uses his scouter to remote pilot the pods to their location. The bug guy thanks the Saiyans for freeing Arlia from centuries of bondage, He says Arlia is now a place where a new beginning can be made, and that Nappa and Vegeta will be forever known as heroes among his people. He bids the two Saiyans a farewell and says they will always be welcomed here. I was under the impression this dude was like the last guy left on the planet, aside from his wife.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say because we're only seeing a small fraction of the planet.
That's true. Yeah. And I thought maybe his wife was also the last female, but
They're
they
gonna
are bugs.
repopulate.
Maybe they can make like millions of offspring.
Yeah, that's how bugs work.
I don't want to think about that.
But I feel like in this moment, Nappa actually enjoys his like time as a hero for like a half a second.
Yeah, he does. I actually have that here somewhere.
But I know he says he mentions it, but I feel like it was genuine.
Yeah, he does here. The two Saiyans enter their pods and fly off, and Vegeta says they couldn't give this place away if they wanted to. Nappa says, but that thing back there said we were heroes. Vegeta says being a hero is overrated, and Nappa says this has all been a waste of time. Vegeta tells him not to worry, they still have Earth to conquer. The Saiyans stop in space, just above the planet, as Vegeta says he has some unfinished business to take care of. Saiyans must be able to hold their breath for a really long time, or maybe they can breathe in space for a short period of time. I've never understood how they were able to just sit in space for an extended period of time like this.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Others do it too. Bardock did it too.
Does Goku ever do that? I don't think he learned how to breathe in space.
I don't think we ever actually see him. No, but I mean, Vegeta and Nappa do it here. Bardock does it.
Anytime a planet's on the verge of collapse, and Goku's usually pretty quick to get to another planet with atmosphere.
I know, like, some of the... Like, Frieza can breathe in space, as can Cell. I think Buu can too. But It's just weird to see the Saiyans do it. Vegeta says this planet has a serious bug problem and fires a large blast towards the planet. The bug guy and his wife happily run towards each other to embrace after being apart for a very long time. But as soon as they reach each other, the planet explodes, along with their moon. It wasn't much of an explosion, though. They just kind of evaporated.
Yeah, I do love that scene. That like the whole setup, how they like have this little side story going with the king and takes the wife, and then they finally get reunited at the end, and then
Vegeta just blows him up,
disintegrates him. Just to really like summarize the Saiyans, like how they feel about the rest of the universe.
Yeah, no regard for life at all.
So yeah, Toriyama did a good job with this one.
Yes, very much. Vegeta remarks that they've made the universe a cleaner place. Nappa says he hopes Earth is better than Arlia. Vegeta reminds him that Earth will be because they have the Dragon Balls. The two Saiyans begin to laugh as they just stand there in the middle of space. It was very awkward.
It's like a Dr. Evil laugh. Like
yeah, it was. And they focused on him for a little bit too long.
It was funny. It was unintentionally hilarious.
Yes, very much. Then Mr. Narrator comes in to send us off as we get one last look at Goku still running. And that's episode 11. Your thoughts?
It took a couple viewings for me to really appreciate all the dialogue throughout. Like, I just love the amount of cheesiness, and Nappa's just like smart ass attitude is hilarious.
This is one of those episodes that kind of gets better the more you watch it.
Yeah, really the only like parts of the episodes that aren't enjoyable are when they just cut back to Goku or Gohan.
Yeah,
could have done without that. Just like a complete episode with just Vegeta and Nappa would have been even better.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice to see Vegeta and Nappa because they've held off on showing them for a few episodes now. Not that they really had anything to show, as they've just been flying through space. But it was nice that they dedicated like a good chunk of an episode to them. Now that it's like almost halfway through this saga.
Yeah, and it almost makes me wish that there were more episodes like this where it just focused on the old school Saiyans, like taking over planets.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what the movie's for.
Because this is like pretty much like the biggest glimpse we get into like how shit went down whenever they got to a planet.
Yeah, how Saiyans like misbehaved.
Yeah, I like you never like would have thought of it. Like you'd think, well, up until this point, you'd think they go to a planet and just destroy everything super quick. But you see in this, like, Vegeta and Nappa strategy is to kind of like,
They have some fun with it.
Go in as prisoners, get a lay of the land.
Yeah.
There's actually some tactical.
Yeah, they're just kind of having fun.
Exactly. So yeah,
killing some time.
I enjoy this episode a lot.
Yeah, good episode. And on that note, we will wrap this up. Give us a follow on Twitter. Check out all of our websites. It'll all be down in the description below. And as always,
tune in next time for another exciting episode of the Dragon Balls Deep Podcast.